All right, so we're diving deep today, folks. And get this, tourist guides.
Tourist
Yeah,
guides.
tourist guides. You know, the folks who herd you around landmarks and historical sites. Turns out there's way more to it than meets the eye.
Huh. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I mean, you gotta know your stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
dates, names, all that jazz.
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We dug into a whole pile of research for this, articles, studies, you name it, and I got to tell you, I was blown away by how much depth there is to this profession.
Really? Like what kind of stuff?
Well, for starters, the sources really emphasize this idea of deep knowledge. It's not just about memorizing facts, it's about understanding the context, the why behind the what.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like anyone can read a plaque, right?
Right. But a good guide can connect those dots for you. They can explain how seemingly insignificant events shaped history, how different cultural practices evolved, all that good stuff.
So it's like they're not just telling you about the past, they're helping you understand it.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key point from the research, the importance of storytelling.
Storytelling.
Yep. Apparently, a truly great tourist guide is also a master storyteller. They can weave together historical facts, anecdotes, maybe even a local legend or two, to create a narrative that really brings the past to life.
Wow, so it's like part history professor, part I don't know, like a performer or something.
That's a great analogy. They have to be engaging, entertaining, and keep people interested.
Hmm, that's pretty impressive. But I gotta ask, with all the information we have online these days, do people even need tourist guides anymore? I mean, can't you just Google anything you want to know?
That's a good question, and one that came up a lot in the research. But actually, it seems like technology might be making guides even more valuable, not less.
Really? Why is that?
Well, think about it. We're bombarded with information constantly, right?
Yeah.
It can be overwhelming to sift through it all and figure out what's accurate and what's not.
Yeah, that's true.
A good guide can act as a filter, a curator of information. They can distill complex topics down to their essence, separate fact from fiction, and present it all in a way that's easy to understand and engaging.
So they're kind of like, I don't know, like an expert translator or something.
Yeah, I like that. They translate the language of history and culture into something that's relevant and meaningful for us today.
Huh. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. But I'm still curious. What are some of the things that really make a guide stand out? Like what separates the good ones from the truly great ones?
Well, according to the research, one key factor is staying up to date. The world is constantly changing, new discoveries are being made all the time, and a good guide needs to keep their finger on the pulse.
So it's not enough to just know the old stuff. You got to keep learning new things too.
Exactly. And that can involve a lot of work. Some of the sources mention guides attending conferences, reading specialized journals, even consulting with other experts in their field.
Wow, they really do take their job seriously, huh?
Absolutely. They're passionate about what they do and committed to providing the best possible experience for their clients.
Okay, so we've talked about deep knowledge, storytelling, and staying up to date. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. There's one more thing that I found really interesting. A lot of the sources emphasize the importance of adapting to different audiences.
Adapting.
Yeah, like you might have a group of history buffs one day and a family with young kids the next. A good guide needs to be able to tailor their approach to meet the needs and interests of each group.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want to bore the kids with a bunch of dates and names, right?
Exactly. And you wouldn't want to oversimplify things for the history buffs either.
So basically, they need to be like chameleons, able to blend in and connect with anyone.
That's a great way to put it. They have to be knowledgeable, engaging, adaptable, and passionate about sharing their love of history and culture.
You know, it's funny, I never really thought much about tourist guides before, but this deep dive has really opened my eyes.
Me too. It's a profession that deserves a lot more recognition than it gets.
For sure. And for those of you listening out there, next time you're planning a trip, do yourself a favor and book a tour with a local guide. You might be surprised by how much you learn and how much you enjoy it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, folks. Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.